Oh shit!
And we live.
We're live.
Baby, we live.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks to our all 5 listeners for tuning in today. And I am Chris Giffrow on Craftworks, and I am, as usual, am joined by PJ with the Evolution of Tables, as well as Arturo, the Chop Master.
Yes.
Today, we have a special guest, Bryan Phillips from Rowan and Wych.
What's up, guys?
Yay, Bryan. Welcome
Hey, Bryan.
all the way from Tampa International Airport, a.k.a. Tampax.
So, Bryan, just give us a little bit of background on yourself for all, like I said, our 5 listeners who probably don't know who you are.
Absolutely.
So,
I've been doing woodworking, in the same capacity that probably most of us have since I was younger, a little kid with my dad. My dad's by no means a woodworker, but he was cheap enough to want to fix things and do things himself. So picked up that and kind of went with it. Did retail for 10 years. And then insurance for a year, and realized neither of those things were going to be the long term. So my wife was already running a company, so we were kind of in a position where I could come home and give the woodworking a try. And so 2 years ago, left corporate, box to play around in the workshop, and that's kind of how it started. And then a year into that, also started picking up leather, just as another media. And that's about it. That's where I'm at. Still trying to figure everything out.
Nice, man. As we are all, as we all are.
And just like really quickly, as far as like your business is concerned, do you feel like right now you're doing more leather than wood, or where do you think you're at as far as kind of the ratio?
I'm trying to figure out what I want to do as a business long term. Obviously, again, I'm making these assumptions that we all started out when we were little kids playing in the garage, but I'll make another assumption that a lot of us started out solely doing custom work for friends and family. And so that's kind of where I started, and I'm moving towards trying to keep it more on the corporate relationships and wholesale type side. So I'm really trying to compartmentalize doing wholesale and private label work in the leather side of things, and then doing solely larger, more invested, whether it's relationship invested, time invested, or resource invested woodworking. So I'm not taking any small projects or little things on.
Awesome. Have you hybridized the two yet? Like done, say like
that was the idea originally why I got into leather. I said, I would love to make, I saw, I think, a magazine rack by one of these people that we hang around. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I had a leather kind of hammock for the magazines. And I was like, I'm going to get into something like that. Haven't since even had the capacity to think through what that looks like, but that's definitely a hope of mine. And I think it's even something Chris and I that we've talked about possibly teaming up on.
Awesome.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Other than, just killing the game all the time, like what you been up to lately, buddy?
Well, what I've been up to, I've actually been down to. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, I was in the shop running back and forth. I had this big order to fulfill for, it was a custom leather order. And I was running into my shop because my arbor press is in there, and that's where I do all my stamping on my leather. And there's a threshold on my shop that's about an inch thick. And for some reason, I love standing on it. And I was just teetering on it, looking at my stamp impression. Oh, is this good enough? Do I need to go? And I fell off, and my shop's about, I'm looking at it right now, it's about 12 inches off the ground, which isn't too high, but I fell on a piece of, I guess it looks like a plywood strip that's still sitting out there, and I twisted, sprained / broke. I'm not really sure. I didn't see a doctor, but the ankle is out of commission currently. So that's what I've been down to lately, just crawling around on the ground, hobbling, trying to pretend like I'm working.
Fashion yourself some crutches, man.
Yeah.
Or just amputate and go the peg leg route. Just
dude. Yeah, like, hey, listen, you have work to do, man. Cut that shit off and get back to work.
My son suggested I just buy a new one, but I haven't been able to find one. So
this is America, man. There's always more.
There's got to be one on OfferUp that
especially in Florida.
Somebody. Yeah,
in Florida there has to be easy. A gator like
Florida man tells his foot.
Yeah, we got one of those.
Yeah. And just for once again, the listeners that don't know who you are, where are you based out of?
So I am West Coast, best coast, baby, on the East Coast.
Oh boy,
up in Tampa Bay.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, Actually, great. I get people from California are always hitting me with West Coast, Best Coast in my comments, and I'm thinking I live on the West Coast of Florida, so yeah, I dig it.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, the sunsets look the same there and in California. Same thing.
Oh, I didn't think of it like that.
Oh yeah, Florida born and raised.
Awesome. So, other guys, what y'all been up to?
Other guys, go ahead, Arturo. Go ahead, man.
Oh,
I'm interested.
I'm one of the other guys.
Yes.
I did that floating shelf that you guys saw.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. That walnut floating shelf. God, that was a pain in the butt. But yeah, we went to install it yesterday. But for some reason, their drywall does not take any type of anchors. Yeah.
I was literally just like talking to myself, walking to the farm to get breakfast, thinking about installations, and there you go.
Yeah. That sucker did not. There's no way to put anchors. I tried every type of anchor.
Wow.
I went to Home Depot like twice. Luckily, she's a friend of mine. Well, a friend of my wife's and I. And she's like, at the end of the day, she wanted the legs, regardless, like those hairpin legs I did for her desk.
Yeah.
So then she's like, dude, just put the legs. Don't worry about hanging it on the wall.
Okay.
I'm
but
like,
now there's holes in the wall already. Like,
How low is the shelf that you could use legs?
It's not even that thick. It's really thin. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah.
No, low. He was saying low. Like it's kind of like a media console, right? Like a floating.
Yeah, it's a media console. So
yeah.
once you put 28-inch legs, it'll go up to it'll be like right around like 34, 36 high, the top part. So it's not that bad. Because that's where they currently have their TV. The TV that's going on there, that's in their bedroom, at that height. Anyway,
Brian's got me thinking of like a shelf that's 7 feet up on the wall. Like there's legs all the way to the ground. Those are some long ass hairpin legs, man.
I'm putting up a chandelier, hairpin legs.
Hairpin legs. I don't need to drill the holes in the ceiling.
That's what they wanted. So yeah, I was like, okay, fine. So
when you say the drywall won't take an anchor, like what exactly?
Yeah, I guess they use like really when they did the apartments, I guess, or whatever, because that's a brand new apartment. And they literally just moved in like a week ago. And I guess like the drywall that they use is really crappy and crumbly.
I'm going to address the elephant in the room. And I hate to say it, man, but it's probably that Chinese drywall. You know?
Just wait for
it. We're just gonna
we're gonna
actually no, but that's probably not inaccurate. And in fact, you know,
it's really like brittle crap.
Yeah, my people have been known to make some really sketchy products from time to time.
My people too. I tell you, we're cousins, bro. And yeah, so it's very brittle and crap like that, and it doesn't want to stick to the wall. Like there's no type of anchor. I tried butterfly anchors. It does everything.
Could you find a stud or anything?
Well, they're metal studs, so I found the 2 studs.
Okay.
The thing is that it's a big hassle. I don't want to keep opening holes. Was the other thing. So.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Have you tried using toggle bolts?
Well, that's that's what you have to do. You have to open up a bigger hole.
Yeah.
To get the whole stud and then drill into the stud itself and then do toggle bolts.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to keep drilling, and she was like,
I think PJ said last week that you could just rub your finger across those hole openings and walk away.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, lick your thumb and like push the paper fibers back into the hole, and it all basically disappears.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like brush your nose on the top of the hole too before you're done.
It's magic. It's magic, man. It's magic.
Get a little oil in there. Like, oh man.
PJ, what have you been up to, man?
Oh man. Okay, so last week I was all talking about rearranging the shop because I got that milling machine from Fergo, and so that's done. The shop is totally rearranged, pretty much, you know, almost all rearranged. There is so much room for activities in the middle of the floor now. It's unbelievable.
Yoga classes, man.
Yeah, I know it. We'll
get sponsored by Bang, and we'll be all right.
I got a mobile base for the saw stop. One of those hydraulic mobile bases. You give it a couple pumps with the foot, and it's up off the ground. It's amazing how you don't think it's going to be that smooth, man. But literally, like one
Where'd
finger,
you get it?
And you're pushing Amazon. Went on the old Amazon website.
Okay.
Just searched. I had no idea about any of it. I just kind of now I know there's like 2 different bases. Obviously, I bought the wrong one. I bought one that was a little bit too big. I think it was for like the 7 horsepower, the
jeez.
bigger saw, and I have the 3 horsepower, so obviously it's a smaller saw. And I just, a quick little couple drilling some holes and fashioning, like basically making the mechanisms shorter to make my mechanism shorter. I know. Thank you, Arturo, so for the laughing at me.
not only that, it was just time, but John wrote in the chat. Remember, we only have one.
Oh.
So
Okay.
John wrote in the chat, PJ kind of looks like Joe Rogan who loves the hot yoga.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Man. So I'm making, it got the base to work, whatever. It's really nice to have a mobile table saw, because that's the center of the shop. That's everybody's basically got their table saw in the middle of the shop. But hey, what if your buddy Chris lands an office job where everything is gigantic, and now you have this table saw in the middle of the shop, and you have no room anywhere else.
Right,
so
you can't walk around.
Out of the way, yeah. We pushed it out of the way, and we've got so much room to build big stuff, which I'm a fan of. I like big things,
There you go.
So that's our man. I also worked on David's Sage Sign Co. His what's it called? His entertainment center, media console. Yeah, a couple live edge slabs of black limba, a quick little welded base, 1.25" square tube, and we're off to the races.
Pretty cool.
Off to the races. Yes, sir.
Pretty cool, man.
Chris, what do you got going on in the shop, man?
Well, presently my shop has just got the end table for the Builders Challenge, and it is drying. And really, that is it. Like, I've done 0 woodworking since I think like 2 days ago. So it's actually kind of a nice break. I'm not gonna lie. Like trying to bang that out in like 2.5 weeks, and with a full-time job, etc. Like it was nice. So yeah, and obviously, I shouted out the whole support system there of like PJ and my buddy Matt from Pankova Collective, and John from Combs Design for lending me that hole saw, and Arturo for just being Arturo.
Hey,
like Arturo really didn't do anything, but he's cool. Add him in here.
Well, originally he was going to do something.
That's true.
Yeah,
you were going to CNC the hole for the
wireless
charging.
Yeah, but then I figured out how to just do it myself. So, but anyway,
DIY, man. DIY.
Yeah. So yeah, that thing's done. But that homemade finish that I do,
remind, what is that?
Yeah, that's the Sam Malouf finish. It's a pretty easy Google search, but really what it is, it's 2 stages. So the first stage is boiled linseed oil, tongue oil, and satin wipe on poly in equal parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part is, so you put that on, you put a couple coats, wipe on, wipe off. You really got to try to make sure that you don't have anything like pooling or sitting, because then you're going to get like crystallization and kind of pockets and stuff like that. So just make sure to wipe everything off. But then on the second coat, it's boiled linseed oil, tongue oil, and beeswax. So I usually warm that up in the microwave, get it all blended together. And then I usually do a couple coats of that, and same kind of concept. So wipe on, wipe off.
Do you buff it after the wax?
No, not at all. Just rub the hell out of it, which is also what I do most mornings. But but yeah, like you really just pull, everything off. And I mean, you could buff it if you wanted to, but I don't think that there's really much of a need. And what was actually kind of interesting is that, and the cat's out of the bag now, I used plate steel on the end table. I was sort of keeping that under wraps publicly, but what it is, it's all 14 gauge hot rolled plate steel. And what was cool is that the boiled linseed oil and the wax actually works as a finish on that too. So
oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
With the wax and all that. It's awesome.
Yeah. And the BLO even too, and the tongue oil, like you can use all that on metal. So yeah, it worked like a charm. And then actually, after that was done, I wiped all that off, waited for that to dry for like a day, and then I paste wax over the top of that. So that I did give it a little buff, just to I just used the sander and a little buffing pad just to.
What kind of paste wax do you like? I gave that walrus oil one a try. It's pretty nice.
I've just been using, what do I have? I have Johnson's and I have the Varathane one. And the only difference I can really tell between the two of them is that the Varathane one doesn't smell as terrible.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, I've had that experience. Also, Johnson is like a very petroleum smelling wax.
Yes.
You know, and then the Varathane, I don't know, maybe they just add some kind of perfume or something to the Varathane, or something that makes your nose numb so you can't smell how terrible it is.
Well, and here's another weird thing. I don't know if this is like this at everybody's Home Depot, but I've noticed that the Varathane paste wax is in the aisle with all the furniture finishes. So it is right there. Yeah, next to all that.
Yeah.
But the Johnson's paste wax is still carried, but it's over in the cleaning aisle.
Yes.
Right.
I saw it like, next to like the next aisle over from freaking lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just a couple, couple spots down from like bleach and hand soap for some reason. Yeah. So I don't know what that's about necessarily, but that's a thing. So
it got demoted, man. It got demoted.
Yeah. But and the finish after that was really cool. Like I'm pretty excited. I'm actually taking it to my buddy Max's house tomorrow to get all like the beauty shots and stuff. Because
nice.
Not any room in my house really to do it, and he's obviously a professional photographer, so it'll be actually kind of fun. I'm going to bring my camera over there too and try to get some video with it in that setting as well for the YouTube video.
Cool.
So and then I have to get it like literally edited and posted, the pictures at least, for the final and for judging purposes. So
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow is the deadline.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So tomorrow at midnight. Yeah.
Back to like I know Brian was asking about buffing wax. I would venture to guess that it's not really as necessary to use like a proper buffer, like a car wax buffer kind of thing, if you're not going for a high gloss finish. Like Chris is a big fan of satin finishes. So, I mean, I am too, but like, I would think that you could get away with doing it by hand, more so than if you're trying to do a high gloss. I'll defer to Arturo's finishing knowledge right now.
I mean, you can always use 4.0 steel wool to buff it as well.
Okay.
And it'll give you the satin finish.
Okay.
I've noticed that as well. But it has to be 4.0. It can't be 3.0. 3.0 cuts way too much.
What do you mean? Like if you have a high gloss finish already and then
you can cut it down with the 4.0. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
if you stay too long, it will start buffing up. So you gotta play a little bit with it. I've noticed. So I'll do like when I do a satin finish, sometimes it's too glossy, the lacquer.
Yeah.
Even with satin, I'll come back with a 4.0 and just start wiping it down. So I want to just cut just enough. And that's what I've been doing with those furniture walnut pieces.
Okay.
I go to the 4.0 steel wool and just wipe it down a little bit. Just a little bit to get it down more. Because if you put it on an orbiter, you can put it on the bottom of the orbiter, it'll start like buffing up.
Yeah, it'll start actually shining it.
Yeah. So you want
like the epoxy.
A little light rub to even it out. But,
right.
Man, that's it. You'll be all
That's
right.
all it takes, man. See that, Chris? All it takes, a little light rub, man.
That's what I feel.
That's right.
Oh man. All right, let's get into some topics. Topics, megopics.
Well, you guys didn't give me your topics. Well, at least Chris didn't.
I did.
Yeah, because I came up with them about 5 seconds ago.
Just now.
So you know what PJ does is a little bit organized today. I mean, he's been on the ball today. So
no, come on, man, come on.
Well, you know what? Let's start with our guest.
Yeah,
we never had a guest before, so let him start. Right? Okay. What do you got, buddy?
Well, given the light of me, doing something to my ankle that I still don't know what that is, I put up the topic of working through adversity. And honestly, this doesn't obviously have anything to do with specifically physical, issues. Obviously, as woodworkers, putting cuts and messing up arms and legs makes it especially difficult. But I think it pertains to a lot of things, whether it's, physical, mental, a lot of like kids at home. So.
Oh, what are you doing, man?
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we're back.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
That'll get edited out, I'm sure.
No, leave it. That's good. That was intermission time for
or you can just overlay some music over that. That'd be funny.
You gotta see what I'm gonna do.
Some French horns or something, just to cover it up.
So like I was saying, even around having kids, I'm sure a lot of us have kids at home if we're working from home or doing this full time. Being in Florida weather, whether it's just super hot or super humid, or it's a piece that's not, under a fan or in the shop, or slowing down finishes and stuff. I've just figured out that I've struggled with, so I say figured out, but actually I'm really bad at this. Trying to just control what we can control, which obviously sounds cliche, but my wife's a good reminder. I'm always coming in, cussing at whatever's going on in the shop, and she's like, well, can you fix it, or are you just going to complain about it?
Wow.
And really compartmentalizing that to say, well, honestly, if I can't fix it right now, then it's better not to waste my time out there.
I like
Talking to our clients and saying, hey, this is the reason, this is the issue. I can't use my legs, so therefore I can't finish this project this weekend. I can't, come deliver this 150-pound cabinet that I was set to deliver the end of last week. Even though in my mind I'm sitting there saying, well, I told him Thursday, I got to be there Thursday. It doesn't matter about my leg. So I think just being smart and just being upfront with the clients and finding the best solutions you can find. Trying not to be PJ and just offering free things.
That's difficult.
Other types of constellation, and we can brainstorm what that is. I don't know. I say that jokingly because I have the same exact issue. A lot of people are like, oh, thanks for this free keychain, even though I just bought this like equally cheap item, but thank you for matching it out of some weird generous guilt or something. So,
well, I'm glad at least I can be a beacon of
inspiration,
what not to do,
stuff.
or we'll say not even a beacon of what not to do, a mirror, basically, so that you all can see how stupid you look, because I do the same stupid shit all the time.
It's been helpful.
That's funny, man. Yeah, but I mean, going back to what you were saying, if you mess something up, I think we talked about that in one of the podcasts. It's nice to just like stand back, get a little reset, and then come back to it later.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, man. Yeah. Well, like Chris just said, it's been a nice break. I took, but we took 2-3 days off because you're literally watching paint dry. Bryan, this is kind of the universe telling you, hey, dude, it might seem shitty, it might seem really inconvenient right now that you couldn't deliver that cabinet, that you have been way less productive than you normally would be. But in the end, it's your body talking to you. You gotta listen to it. You gotta slow down, and something else will come up.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Now that we're getting older, hey, there's legitimate reason to slow down when you mess your body up. And we all want to be 18 in our minds, but I guess we're not, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, it's nice taking a step back from something, especially if there's something out there that's like, I'm thinking about it from a build perspective. Like, let's say there's a problem and you can't seem to solve it. Like, whether it's design, logistics, whatever. What I end up doing is I'll just walk away from it for a little bit, go work on something else. And PJ and I talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, go get a quick win. Like, go bang out something that you feel like is easy, that you can basically get that sort of feeling of success, then walk back to whatever was driving you nuts, and you'll feel a lot more confident in dealing with it. And I'll also liken this a little bit to my day job. Most of the people who follow me know that I'm an attorney, and it's sort of a joke around the office that I work in sprints, kind of, where I will sort of tackle a task and then chill out for 20 minutes and dick around and not really not do much. But the point is that I'm sort of like recharging to then tackle like the next thing. And I find that I am incredibly way more efficient working that way than I am, just diving elbows deep into something and really, getting caught up in the weeds.
I usually just run to Home Depot and stress spend money on something and come back to my problem.
I'll do some impulse buying, but I'll be quite honest. Most of my purchases end up about a half a bottle of whiskey deep at 11:45 at night. Like the other night when I bought a dovetail saw and the Rob Kausman.
Oh, I remember that. And he woke up. What? I bought this? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus.
And then Rob called you.
Rob called you.
Yeah.
Rob called you to say thank you for buying my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I didn't answer, but it was funny.
Oh, you didn't even answer?
You didn't
answer? It's a random number, I guess.
Yeah, because it's a weird number. He's calling from Canada. So I'm like looking at my phone and I'm like, what is this number that's coming through? And it was late. I was watching TV with my girlfriend and it was like close to 11 o'clock at night. And I just ordered his dovetail marker. And I shit you not, within 5 minutes of me ordering that, I was getting a phone call and he left a voicemail. That's how I knew it was him.
That's awesome.
He's like, hey, Chris, it's Rob. was like, oh, what?
You got me out of bed.
Well, he's, I think, in a way different time zone. So I want to say it was at least a much more normal time of day. But
Yeah, I think he's on the west side of Canada, middle to west.
But that's, to me, that's impressive. I was very, and I
sure,
mean,
man. That's customer service. That's good.
well, and it's like kind of what Arturo was talking about, upselling a little bit. One of the guy that basically recommended me to get this dovetail marker was like, yeah, man, he's like, he's going to call you and then he's going to try and upsell you on a class. And he's like, he's a smooth talker too. So, the next thing you know, like you've already booked like tickets to Canada and you're going to go learn how to hand cut dovetails. So he's like, don't let him talk you into anything. That's kind of what he was getting at.
Yeah, he's got that new location for his class now. He's got packed classes already. You follow him on Instagram at all?
Yeah. And
he's
an awesome guy. Like he works with that Purple Heart project, which is really cool. Where they're working with vets.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because from what I've heard is that hand tool woodworking is really good for PTSD. Like it actually is really, really beneficial for that. So
I can see that.
Yeah, which I mean, that's awesome. To see.
Oh, sure,
like
man.
Giving back, in such a way.
Nice. Very nice, man. Very
Who's
nice.
up next on tops?
I guess I'll go. So my topics today, well, it's basically like same as last week. One that will definitely lead into the other. It's keeping your business true to itself, which should probably lead into how and when to say no. What's up, C-Weg? So we can edit that part out for real. Like
another horn.
No, and so basically, I have to constantly remind myself what in the hell I spent money on. I spent a ton of money on equipment, basically on a facility and equipment, and I find myself saying yes to things that I am not set up for. Like, why am I building a cabinet when I have a bobcat out there in the yard? Like, why am I building a cabinet right now? What the hell why did I say yes to this? Like, stop saying yes to things that you're not set up for and start charging more for the things that you are set up for. Because the fact that I'm set up for certain things means that I can do them very easily. So I don't charge enough for them because I don't feel right charging a lot of money for something that I think is easy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me just like yesterday, let's say, for example, flatten this workbench for Fergo. He brought over a workbench that he got from Dusko, and it wasn't very flat, so I flattened it for him. I'm not going to charge him any money. Obviously, this is just an example, but okay, yeah, it literally took me 10 minutes. It took me longer to change the head on the machine to take the chainsaw off and put the planer head on and do that than it did to actually do the job. But something like that, should be, I don't know, $150, $200 to flatten a workbench, I'm guessing. But there you go. I would just do that as a quick favor for somebody because I have the machine. Arturo, you got a badass CNC machine, and it's so easy for you. Let's say I go over to you and say, "Oh, Arturo, I need you to cut me out the Olympics logo, basically." Like the circles, all the rings together. And that would take you 5 minutes, dude. But you know what? It's worth to me. You should charge me a lot because your machine's expensive and you've had to learn about it. Yeah, you turned it on. You're paying the power bill and all that stuff.
Correct.
So
yeah, my wife brought up that the other day. She goes, "You got to charge a little bit more, even though you're set up for it. You got to charge a little bit more because at the end of the day, you got to pay off the machine. You got to pay your electricity. You got to pay your time for learning how to do all that. Which is not cheap, or else everybody would be doing it. Yeah. So I can see it's easier to do things that you're set up for and say yes to than other things.
I feel like
a hassle.
I feel like I had a goal years ago. I had a goal, and I'm like there now. But it's, that mentality. I'm sure we all share the same mentality. Like you conquered something and it's like, all right, on to the next one. What's the next challenge? But now I'm sitting here with all this equipment. It's already paid for. All the equipment's already paid for. Basically, I don't care.
But you still gotta make your money back,
So like I have to remember why I did it. Like why the hell did I do all this? Why did I wanted to make slabs, and I am, but I have to charge for that because it's so much fun for me. I forget that there should be money involved.
There should be money involved. Yeah, I'm the same way with the CNC.
You know?
It's so much fun. Like Robert came by, he needed to make a 20 by 20. He brought 21 by 21. He needed to make of oak, of 8-quarter oak, and he needed to make it into a circle. I was like, I already had the 1/2-inch bit there, and it took me like 4 minutes or something like that, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and just made the circle, cleaned up, and it was done.
Yeah.
At any time were you like, Robert, just take a router and a piece of plywood and do this yourself?
Well, he didn't want to do the whole setup, and on top of that, the oak wasn't so even.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that and also like you don't have to make a center hole in it at all because
I just told him, hey, mark just with a pencil, mark the center, and that's it. And I was like literally it took me longer to set up the machine than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I will say finding the center is probably the most annoying part of that.
Right. Finding the center and getting an exact radius too. Like, you know, if you're doing it the arbitrary way, like Chris and I do with the freaking it's literally a piece of plywood and I'll put a screw through it and we just have to kind of make sure that screw is precisely, you know, half the diameter away from the inside of the bit.
Yeah, see, I don't gotta do that. I just gotta mark it.
Yeah, you mark it. You set it and
forget it. It is copyright. I try to grab it. And
I don't care, man. I'm gonna say
I've been dying to get
every episode.
Yeah, no, man. But that's what it becomes. So like what John said here in the chat, don't charge for your time, charge for your knowledge. And I think that's where we fail a little bit.
Yeah, we sell ourselves short because I'm a huge fan of at least acting humble and saying, "Oh, I don't know anything," you know. When
you do,
you know, I kind of do, you know. To be honest, like you know,
sharpening, or cutting, all that. It's important. I don't know how to do a bobcat.
I think another perspective on all this too is something I run into is on the other end of it. I tend to charge an okay amount for easier things because I figure this is where I'm going to make up my money, because where I fall short is somebody says I need this particular product made and maybe I'm not set up and I don't have the equipment I need. Instead of charging what I need to make it worth it on top of the equipment or materials I have to buy, I factor those additional costs of materials and tools into that price. So say I really should charge $1,000, but with the new equipment and the materials, really I can get by charging $750. I go with $750 because I feel like, well, I'm gaining this tool, I'm gaining this experience, so I'll kind of pass some of that deal on to you, kind of thing. And it's a really bad business plan.
It's terrible.
It doesn't work.
Actually, you know,
now, thank you for saying that, because now I'm not the worst one.
Wow.
That's kind of an interesting model, because what it's reminding me of a little bit, and I think there's a way to make it successful. Like, you would just probably have to really plan it out, but it's reminding me a lot of Costco in a way. And bear with me here. So Costco has a $1.50 hot dog and a drink that has literally been $1.50 for, I don't know, the past like 30 years. They have a $5
there. My Costco's at $2.25 now.
Oh,
your Costco?
Oh my God.
That's a nightmare. But my Costco's still $1.50. I'll tell you that. But
come up to Tampa, $1.49.
Yeah, the rotisserie chicken's like $4.99. It's been $4.99 forever. And I remember reading an article about Costco, and they were like, yeah, you know, we keep these items really low because we know our customers like it, and we don't really make money off of that. They're like, where we make our money is off the memberships. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're making up the cash that we're possibly losing on this, or, you know, we're breaking it in.
Sure, that's their free bench.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, well, I don't know if that's what we're going to call it, but I think
it's not a free hot dog; it's a full $1.50.
But I think on Brian's front, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to make up the margin by selling, say, like keychains, wallets, like things like that for a higher cost, and then letting that sort of supplement your back end." I think that can be really smart if you really are one of those people where you are able to document your business to the point that you can sort of track that, right, and be like, okay, like, this is where I'm for sure going to make up these margins that I'm losing from over here. So,
and I think there's a season to do it, right? So as you're accumulating those tools and those experiences and knowledge, I think it works. But then once you look at your shop and you've got, you know, $25,000 worth of equipment in it, you're like, okay, it's probably time to stop doing that. And if I don't have what I need now, I probably don't need to make it. It's probably not a project for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, a good example of like, say, building tools into your margins and stuff was like, PJ and I on this office job, like we were both like, this is going to get us dominoes. Like, this is what we want out of this job. So, I got the 500. PJ still hasn't gotten the XL, but I'm assuming that's, on.
That's coming.
Yeah, that's what he wants. And I mean, we talked about it, like, in the price, we were like, this is something that's going to help us build this. Funny enough, we only really used it one time on the job, but it actually didn't come that in handy. But hey, I have a domino now, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, domino and a track saw. Yeah.
I will say those. The domino's still on the list of projects I need to get so that I can somehow factor in a domino. So
I'll tell you what it is. So I used it a lot on the nightstand, the end table. Sorry. It's amazing. Like, it's really, really cool. And I managed to whip up. I mean, I did some complex joinery as far as like bridle joints, box joints, things like that. But the rest of it's all just floating tenons with the domino.
Yeah.
And I mean, it takes 5 seconds to do.
This cabinet I just built last week or the last couple of weeks, I did all just biscuits and through dowels, and it works. It's fine, but it's not as strong and it's not as aesthetically appealing to see those through dowels. I mean, sometimes it works, and it doesn't look bad. It's just not, my preference.
I think it becomes just justifying the tool a little bit. Like the domino, using Dusko's domino, and Dusko bought it and used it once.
That's pretty easy to justify a free borrowed tool.
No, but I used to have it. I used to have it, and then I returned it because I didn't use it. Like, I don't do furniture.
Okay.
I don't do any furniture pieces, but now I'm starting to do a little bit more, and I'm leading into that area. So then I'll probably go and buy one. Like when Festool has them refurbished, they have the XL always refurbished for like $1,000.
Yeah, but good luck getting those on the Festool Recon site.
The XL, you can grab it. The 500, there's no way to get it for $750.
I get the emails. It's super funny. I'll get the email, and literally within 30 seconds, like the time it takes me to see that I have the email, then click on the link and get there, it's gone already.
It's gone.
It's crazy. And they come in batches. So it's like, do you want this drywall screw gun thing? And you're like, just where's the domino? I can't find the email. Where's this crap?
But I think they keep it as the same link. So I guess, I don't know, you gotta refresh it or something.
Just sit there all day like Chris did. And
just. I mean,
I bought mine straight up off Amazon.
I know you did, but I remember back in the day you told me, oh yeah, I'm just checking out the Festool Recon site.
Oh yeah, that's how I got the track saw actually.
Right,
exactly. I got the track saw. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. They have bots that do that actually. Like I know that from like some of my kids at school. They're like, they're big fans of that brand Supreme, and they have. I watched a kid do it one time. It's like, oh yeah, today at 11 o'clock they're releasing this particular shirt. That's its face value is $60 or whatever, or $30, and then they could resell it in a month or two for $2,000, And so he's sitting there on his phone, refreshing a link, and he like when it came down to it, he opened up an app that he had on his phone, and he entered something, and then the app basically, as soon as it released, the app took over and like got him in, and then it's like refreshing. It takes like 30 seconds to let you know if you got it or not, and then it pops up like thank you for your order or whatever, and he's like, yes, I got it. So he got this shirt for, $38 that he can sell for $2,000 in a couple months. So the app pays for itself, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. No,
I think the real hero of that story is that there's a t-shirt for $2,000.
Well, hey,
we're in the wrong business.
It's all about the hype, man.
Yeah. I don't think any of us got into woodworking thinking we were going to get like filthy, stupid rich out of this.
Yeah. That's gone the other way instead.
That's at least the reality.
Yeah, the reality, it's gone the other way.
That's true though, man. That's like why in the hell would you even choose to do something like this then? It does pay bills, I'll tell you that right now. It pays.
Yeah. That's for sure. It does pay. It's paid my rent a bunch of times. It pays for itself without a doubt. Not filthy rich, but enough to pay the bills, which
enough to pay the bills. And you know what? I just feel so productive all the time. When I can come in from the shop, when I build a free bench or something like that, I feel so productive about what I've done.
Imagine you was at 5 in the morning and bother Bryan.
Yeah, right.
Here's an interesting question. I don't know if this would even count as a topic or whatever, but I mean, does anybody, because we all have our own businesses really, and we have our significant others, wives, etc. You know, do you feel like you catch crap from your significant other, wife, for spending time in the shop that makes money, but then they're, I guess, bothered because it's enjoyable, like because we like it, you know? So to them, or to, I guess, some other outsider even, it looks like we're not working when in fact we are working. And to an extent, I think it's rather lucrative from what, you know, we've been doing lately.
Sure.
That's a good question.
Sure. Yes. Yes and no. Lately, again, since like I said, I've said it in like 2 podcasts ago, like the last couple months have been awesome as far as us networking with each other and like getting more connects and this and that, making, you know, the bottom line has gone up, you know, making more money. So the meetups, the stuff like that, yeah, I could understand where somebody might see that as, you know, you're just screwing around and having fun. But it's also, it's almost like a business dinner. You know, it's part of like, you know, being a realtor trying to sell a house. You got to take the client out to dinner. You got to do this. You got to do that. I feel like it's all part of it. You know, the networking is part of it. As far as like being in the shop for hours on end, and I might sit down in that nice comfy chair that I have in the shop, and it's almost as if there's a button on the seat of that chair that alerts my wife when I sit down, because that's when she comes out holding the baby, and I'm like, God damn it. Like I swear to God, I swear I just sat down. I haven't been sitting for 3 hours. Like I just like, look, I have sawdust all over me. I promise I was doing something. But, you know, when I can pay for stuff and when I can, you know, put a little bit of extra money aside and say, hey, maybe we can go on vacation one day. Here's, you know, whatever, $1,000, blah, blah, blah. Then it all kind of clicks. Then it all makes sense. And it's like, oh, okay, well, sit in that chair all you want, you know, like, but
it's actually funny that you say that about the chair, because I swear to God, for some reason, and I mean, nobody's really going to believe this, but I'm not on my phone that much when I'm in the shop, because I mean, really, there's not a purpose for it, because I have the camera. Like I don't film off of my phone. So, you know, when I'm say like doing a build and trying to film, I've got like way too much stuff going on for me to like actually look at my phone. So then I'll actually take dedicated time, you know, a little break, 15 minutes or whatever, and I'll dick around on Instagram for a bit. And I swear it's as though like the second I pick up my phone and start like answering messages or, you know, like responding to comments, whatever, the girlfriend comes out and she's like, what are you doing out here? Like, you don't want to come? And I'm like, oh my God, like I swear I was just working. Like, I promise. like, look, this was a stack of wood earlier. Now it's not a stack of wood, or it's a stack of wood that's just rearranged and connected together. But yeah, things like that.
So. We had a talk, my wife and I, a while ago. And it was about that, you know, about splitting the time around. So I was able to schedule time, like shop time, work time, throughout the whole week, from 7 days a week. I can schedule family time and work time. So I got X amount of hours throughout the day at certain times of the day that I can do whatever the hell I want, you know, woodworking respectively and all that. And then the other times I'm home with the family or whatnot. You know, of course, there's some anomalies every once in a while, late night deliveries or something like that. But usually we plan the whole week. And it's like, hey, I got shop time here. I know what days I have in the afternoon, what days I have in the mornings. The weekends are whenever the hell I want. Like after this, I'll go to the shop. I got a bunch of things to do, you know, and it was just sitting down and planning the time, because for myself, actually, it came out to be a lot better. Because I didn't think I was losing time. Mm-hmm. On the contrary, I actually gained more time and then more concentrated time.
I feel that.
Yeah. Like, so let's say I pick up the kids and I drop them off at the house at 3:00 on the dot. I'm at the shop at 3:20, and I can be in the shop until 6 because that's when dinner's ready, which I'm hungry anyway. so it makes sense, because then afterwards, you know, I can just do what I got to do. You know, and then I can just be home, and that's it.
You already put in your time, so you don't feel bad about just kind of
leaving things half-assed. No. I know what to squeeze in. I plan it, and I can do it because you know, it's easier. It's easier on my brain. That's what I found. It's a lot easier on my head and on the family wise and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm in a different situation, but I do think it's a situation that, based on who I've talked to on Instagram, both in woodworking and the leatherworking communities, I think it's not
ridiculously uncommon is my wife is actually the breadwinner. So we both work from home. We're both self-employed, but her income, her business is just what pays the bills essentially. Mine is with hopes to pay the bills and with hopes to add to that. So it makes it much more interesting. Because we're both at home, we do have an actual schedule, hour by hour, everything's set up, but there's a little more rub when, PJ's over here saying, oh, I make this extra thing. It equates to this extra vacation or something. And my extra thing typically equates to, okay, but did we really need that or whatnot? So it's a different dynamic. It's there's a little less forgiveness in ridiculously long days in the shop because of that fact.
Well, your wife too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she also, doesn't she help as far as like the Rowan and Wych side's concerned too? Like she helps with like order fulfillment and stuff like that, like some of the business management side of it?
A little bit. I think we both try to do as much as we can for each other business-wise, back office admin type things, just because I think we could both do that ourselves, or we could both invest in each other's businesses a little bit.
Sure.
And one, it gets you a little more respect for the other person's business, a little more understanding, but it also frees up. I'd rather do admin for her because it's less mundane. It's not what I do all day. It's not, it's just a little more enjoyable, I guess, as opposed to the mundane stuff I have to do for my business. So just kind of changes it up.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I'm sure. Like it's like stepping away from a project and working on something else.
Mm-hmm.
What I was going to say before is like to me that's the purpose of a lathe in the shop. Like if you have a lathe, you can turn something real quick, and that's like your quick win. That's like step away from a cool like a steel shrouded nightstand with soft closed drawers that might be pissing you off because the piece of steel wasn't square or whatever, and go turn a pen, turn something, turn a candlestick. Who cares, But it happens fast, and you make a nice big mess. And when you're turning on the lathe, your mind is just there. That's like to me, that's like super. Like Chris was saying, it helps with using hand tools. Helps with PTSD. Like I don't know, it helps with my anxiety for sure. Turning stuff on the lathe. I don't have a lathe at home. I have a lathe at the school. But whenever I get on that thing, I'm like in the zone, and then I turn around and look at the rest of the shop and I'm like, Jesus. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh my God, it's on fire. Like, oh,
that's gotta be a t-shirt, like a picture of PJ using a lathe and then like,
and
then behind him, like
burning down
like a forest fire or something.
Yeah. There's a brawl. Like kids are throwing chisels at each other. Oh my God.
They're making throwing knives behind you. Like,
yeah.
It's like the opening scene of John Wick.
Oh yeah, right. And it's just knives flying everywhere.
Oh, PJ, I think you definitely have the potential to set up a pretty nice merchandise line of just stickers of your face, or just I don't know.
Thanks, man.
I would buy stickers of PJ's face.
Even T-shirts of your face would probably be pretty good.
like Matt Cremona does that. He's a master of marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's so smart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good scene though. You're right, Chris. Like freaking somebody a shop teacher turning on the lathe and the room is
just in absolute chaos.
Behind it. Kids hanging from the rafters and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I'll use this to transition into my next topic, which I feel like we've sort of addressed a little bit, but let's get into it. Procrasturbation. So,
oh boy.
Yeah. So what is procrasturbation, guys? Does anybody know?
Because lack of testosterone?
No, it is when you are procrastinating to do something, and therefore you're like, hey, I'm just going to go over here and jerk off because I don't want to do this thing. Yeah. So,
I mean, as funny as the term is, dude, that's a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like I remember when I was studying for the bar, years and years ago, not actually masturbating, but like, I would procrastinate because like sometimes there's something I don't want to do, right? For whatever reason, I think it's hard. It's, been frustrating me, whatever. And instead of actually doing it, I would just take a nap. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to take a nap for 20 minutes to avoid having to do this thing that I need to do. So I feel like, well, I know that it's happened a few times in woodworking as far as if there's a project that I'm not enthused about that I'm commissioned for, or a problem that I'm not ready to tackle yet. And actually, I'll use an example with you, PJ, a little bit, because I think with this desk that we just did, there was definitely procrastination on the front end of it because of the ability or inability, rather, for even like you or me to really conceive exactly what we were doing. You know, when we looked at the SketchUp, we were, you know, taking all the plans in, but we're like, well, exactly how are we going to make this work? And I'm over at your house like, well, let's just start like taking something and cutting it, and then we'll get there, you know. And PJ's
little by little.
Journey has a first step, man.
Yeah, and like PJ's over in the corner, like changing out like the, you know, blades on his angle grinder, like just doing like other things. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you know, we got to do this. Like, and then finally it clicked though for you, and then you were like, all right, let's do this, and it was like full speed ahead. But you know,
that's true. Oh, dude, that's true, dude. I remember that. Like, I didn't want to start because I'm like, I have no idea what this is even supposed to look like. I was kind of like waiting for you to just do a sketch or something. And you remember that day, like when we figured out how we were going to do the boxes with the veneer and all that crap? Like, like when it made sense in my head, I'm like, dude, point me in the right direction and I will go 100 miles an hour. I promise you. Like, but I just need that direction first. Like I had no idea what the hell the thing was supposed to look like. And to be fair, we put it together for the first time at the place. Like we didn't really know what it would look like in the shop. Like we delivered it and put it together, and then it was like, oh, that looks cool. Okay.
You know what was really funny about that too was the guy, the CEO of the company, like he had sent me a text or something after. He was like, you guys didn't have to like assemble it right there. And like in the back of my head, I'm like, well, otherwise we would have never known what it actually looked like. So, you know, like, like I know we have to take it all apart again to move it eventually, but you know, for right now, like, that's what it looks like. And that's where it's going to stay. Jeez. So it's also like, you know, I don't know how many 100 pounds, but it's going to keep people from messing with it while it's all put together. So
you're not going to be able to take one piece off or anything. But I'm just curious how everybody else sort of, if they've encountered procrastination or how they've like sort of dealt with it, you know. I feel like Bryan is a pretty big fan of procrastination.
I think the biggest hurdle for me isn't even project related. It's keeping the shop clean. I think on a daily basis, I walk out to the shop and immediately I see just a mess because I'm just a messy person that apparently just hates cleaning up after myself. So when you walk in and you see all of your glue brushes are glued to some random something, and there's you know, all of your saws are all your wireless saws are facing up on the floor coming to attack you, and you know, boards are falling out of the rack, and it's a mess. So I think that's the big thing for me, is staying on top of projects and making sure I'm cleaning up after them as opposed to before them. It's hard to get in there and not just sit on my phone, you know, talking to you guys on Instagram if I'm not ready to start the day when I get out there. So that's a big, you know, not saying I'm there yet, but that's a big thing that I think is important to fighting that procrastination.
I do a lot just because I have a CNC, and you're supposed to do other things while the CNC is running, and I just
don't
at all whatsoever. I just sit there, stare at it. We'll talk to one of the guys in another bay or something like that.
It is pretty mesmerizing to watch a CNC run.
It is pretty cool, actually. It does it all by itself. It's like a grown-up kid. It's awesome.
But what else could you do, honestly? Like, what else could you do while the CNC is running?
Everything. Everything that you do. I can literally do everything that you do while the CNC is running.
So you could it's like, you know, having 2 employees.
That's what it is. It's having an employee that works 24/7, 365 days a year without complaining.
To go back to somebody from last week, I'm going to invoke the name of Sean Boyd.
Again.
Yeah, Sean Boyd has...
It's like Harry Potter all over again.
He has a CNC in his shop that he uses to make templates, and it's actually kind of funny because in his videos, he gives his CNC... I forget what his CNC's name is. I want to say it's like Craig or something like that, or Greg or one of those. Gertrude. And yeah, like, so he gives his CNC sort of like this personality, like how like his CNC like hates him because he like puts him to work all the time and is like griping that he doesn't get any of the credit because, you know, he makes all the templates, and, you know, Sean's over there like, you know, taking selfies in the corner and assembling stuff for the domino.
My CNC is called Frank.
See, yeah, there you go. But that's one of those things where like while that's running, you know, doing whatever it needs to do, like he's over somewhere else working as well. So, you know, it's like you
Yeah.
said, having another employee in the shop. Like it's
But
pretty cool.
like I'm like task oriented. Sometimes I get tunnel vision, and I'll be like, I'll think, all right, I have to get this piece together. Like I know there's other stuff to do, but I want to get this because that's where my mind is right now, and I've been thinking about this one particular piece or this cut or whatever all day. So like that's the first thing I have to do when I get home. And if I'm presented with another issue when I get home, it like throws me off. I'm like, no, I wanted to do this first. You know, maybe that's like I'm probably on some kind of you know, spectrum of autism somehow, because like I really get frustrated if I can't get that one task done, which leads to the next task, and like if stuff doesn't go in order,
that really puts me off. Like
yeah, and then it's like the whole day. Yeah, even so much as like I wake up and I want to like get the day started right away, but if everybody else is still sleeping, I'm like sitting there twiddling my thumbs, like I can't even leave to go get breakfast yet or something, or you know what I mean. Like then I feel like, oh god, the whole day's ruined, and it's only been like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like PJ, like you know, just quit your bitching, like just you know, chill. You know, do something, do some research online or something, and then let the day start naturally. But like, you know, I always, I don't know, I have everything in my head, and I don't write anything down, and I want to do things a certain way, and when they don't go that way, I'm like, fuck it, it's done. I'm just gonna go procrasturbate now.
Yeah, I think filling those downtimes is key. Yeah, you're like, oh, I come in from the shop frustrated or kind of at a stop still, and instead of sitting on the laptop and taking care of taxes or messaging clients, I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'll just check out on my phone or watch ESPN.
Yeah. Like the things that I should do versus the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of do.
I do. So
like right after finishing this end table, really my priority now should be editing the YouTube video, really, because I have all this footage that I haven't digested yet. But the problem right now that I'm procrastinating is I know that there's a ton of footage that I have to sift through, and it's not like a smaller build where I can just, you know, it was a lot of easy, quick successes. Like there's a lot of stuff I screwed up. So like, and then there's like shots where I would start the camera, stop the camera within like 20 seconds because I was like about to do something and I realized that was a terrible idea and I didn't do it. So, you know, there's yes, but no. But like, you know, if I included all that in there, then it's going to be a 35-minute, you know, YouTube video. And I'm trying to keep everything at about under 10 minutes at the very least. Like I have no problem, you know, I guess explaining how I screwed something up and how I fixed it. But I'm not going to just do, you know, sort of a bunch of false starts. Like that doesn't really, that's not beneficial.
That's not fun to watch, basically.
Unless it's like a singular dramatic thing that kind of.
Yes, exactly. So
your hand flies off or something.
Yeah. Long story short, I mean, there's like 30 gigabytes or something of footage that I have to like go through, and I'm just ruining the idea of like sitting there and watching, you know, grass grow pretty much, and then having to sort through that, organize that. Then, I mean, it's a lot. So therefore I'm like looking at it, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break for a weekend and not do any of that. So
it's a long weekend.
And like I said before, you know, it's healthy to do that. Or sometimes people say it's healthy to do that and like take a step back, you know, go on vacation for a couple days or whatever. And then like almost the equivalent of taking a day off of school. Like I'll get a substitute teacher, and in my mind, I'm like, all right, I could use this day now to, you know, get a lot of work done. But then when I get back to school, the amount of emails I have from the office is, you know, double. And I've got to clean up the room because the kids go nuts when there's a sub. Obviously, we were all in high school at one point. Like the desks are all over the place. The sub like wrote some stupid message on the board, like call me or whatever. Like I need help. Like please dial 911 or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, like, why do I even take a day off? Because it's twice as much work when I come back. I feel the same way about the shop too. You take a couple days off from the shop and then, you know, then you get back and you look at, like, you thought you were like in the clear, and then somebody texts you like, hey, just checking in to see how that table's going or something to that effect. And I'm like, oh, I knew there was something. Damn it. I'm glad I got to relax, but now I'm not relaxed at all. I'm anxiety extraordinaire.
I'm the opposite. I have anxiety when I have time off. Like when we went to vacation back in March to Germany, I was dying inside. So 8 days of torture. And I'm like, oh my God, so much to do. I have to get back. And it's like when you step away, it's like what you said, you get double the emails, you get double of everything in one shot. And my anxiety goes through the roof. I work better under pressure.
Yes.
Oh, we gotta do this tomorrow. I'm like,
give me a hard deadline, dude.
I'm like, I'll wait till the morning then to finish.
Yeah. Pull an all-nighter.
That's why. That's how I work, man.
I'm anxious in the shop and outside the shop on vacation, so I'm just anxious all around. But I do think being craftsmen or being any sort of like skilled laborers, I think you have to have a little bit of anxiety to keep your products, at a high standard.
Yeah, it builds character, man. If you're not nervous, you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm. something like that.
Speaking of vacations, Brian, how was that? You on a cruise recently, right?
Out of Fort Town. Yeah,
man,
down there in your all's land.
How did that?
Good. It was great.
Nice?
It was actually a kind of a work trip for my wife, but it's weird. I guess I'm more like Arturo. When I'm on vacation, all I can think about is just work orders. Thinking like, I wish I was in the shop right now, busting something out. So I need to work on that. I think a lot of us have that issue or that complex.
What helps with that is scotch.
Couldn't imagine that you were going to go there. Yeah, that was. Yes,
my anxiety rises when I drink.
Oh
really?
Gosh,
yeah.
I can't say I have that problem.
I hadn't had a drink in a couple weeks to be honest. Like I hadn't had any alcohol in a couple weeks, and I had one full beer last night, and it felt so good. Like because it was Friday, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have a beer. Like okay, whatever, a beer like with dinner, and I drank the whole beer. I'll every now and then I'll just pop open a beer, but I won't even finish the whole thing. I finished the whole beer, and I'm like, wow, like my tolerance is way down. Number one, but number two, I feel really good. I actually feel relaxed on a Friday night, like I should. Like, damn it, stop being so nervous about everything all the time, PJ. Shit.
Yeah.
No, I get more nervous as I drink, so I try not to drink as much.
I think Chris would just say you haven't drank enough in one sitting.
Yeah, that could be the other thing. I don't drink enough to balance that out and just pass out, so I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. I've just been buzzing since 2010 or something like that. It's been a long time.
Attaboy.
So Arturo, what you got for us?
So it's cool to have Brian on. I'm starting to do production runs. Production runs for certain items for a company down here. I was contacted on Thursday, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to prototype these two things for us, and then we got to do 100 of each."
Whoa!
As a first order, and then subsequent orders after that could be higher, depending on turnaround time.
Nice, man.
And I was like, "Yeah, it was great," but then I was like, "Yeah, I really don't do that much production runs. I do, but then I don't." So
why wouldn't you?
Well, because I never had a client like that. I have one client like that, which is the cigar boxes that my family actually has.
Okay.
And then, so I'm used to that. And then it goes back to what he was saying. You got to shut up shop to get ready to do all that stuff. So I got to knock everything out this weekend so I can start doing it, prototyping, and then get the shop ready for stuff like that. And then bill out all the time that, besides getting it ready, time that you actually got to take away from other things.
That's true.
So
that's very true.
Right. Yeah, if you're going to do those productions.
What's that?
If you're going to do those production runs, you definitely need the space and the organization. It doesn't work to be on top of yourself when you got to bust out 100 of something.
Right. So that's luckily they're small items, but it's still 100 of each, which is no easy task. Luckily the CNC is big enough that I can just organize everything on top.
Yeah, if they're small things, you can you're cutting a bunch out of one sheet, kind of time, see how long it's going to take to cut a bunch of parts out of one sheet, go eat lunch while it's running, and then
running. Yeah. It's just setting up. It's mostly the setup time. I wasn't so much worried about it. Doing the first prototypes, I got to do them so I can turn them in next week, beginning of next week. But they're easy. But then set up the shop, or the CNC to be more exact, to get them running. Yeah. As long as I can.
in my opinion, Arturo, like your CNC, that's an industrial CNC. It's not a Shapeoko or whatever. That's Shapeoko.
Shapeoko.
No, it's Japanese. Shapeoko.
No.
Right?
Sounds good.
Jesus.
Anyway, that, I mean, you've invested a lot of money, like, you know, to piggyback off what I was saying before, like you invest a lot of money in a certain type of machine. I think that type of machine is made for production work.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm like, that's what you're supposed to be doing with that machine, man. Like, yeah, you know, almost like, you know, give it a workout.
Yeah, it stretches legs essentially.
If it's not running, it's not making any money. You know,
exactly.
So I get source of my anxiety is seeing my sawmill sit without running for a couple of weeks. I'm like, damn, that's a big ass piece of equipment just sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't started the crane.
You didn't have it in the house when you had it at the school instead.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally sitting there because like my kids weren't as responsible as they thought they'd be this year. So, you know, it literally sat there. I brought it as kind of a novelty so that the kids could get excited about my class, and it didn't work. So I brought it home so I could actually make money with it, you know?
Right. So yeah, so that's what I gotta get going, man. Just set up, you know, shop efficiently to do it. Pretty easy stuff, but still gotta set it up, you know, and get that working. I've never done such a large order like that. You know, the boxes that they have, the boxes that I normally do, they're not big orders. You know, they're 20, you know, tops, 20 or 30, which I can knock out. That's easy. But these are like 100 of each, you know, take a little bit, you know, gluing and this and that assembly, just a little bit of work, you know, and I have like that amount I don't have experience in.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be scared, man. Not that you're scared.
I'm like, pretty excited actually.
Yeah.
The money's not the factor. The factor was like, I can do 100 of one thing. Let's see how fast I can do it.
Yeah. Challenge accepted, right?
Yeah. That's how I didn't care for the numbers or anything like that. I cared more like, let's see how we can do 100 of these things on this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's ready to do it anyway. And I barely stretch its legs, barely, like, not even a quarter of it. Like literally, just the speeds and feeds like we talked about last podcast. He's doing a quarter of what he can do.
Really?
You know, yeah. Wow. So it's like,
that's crazy.
I guess
like you paid for it. You're maintaining it, so let it make money for you, man. Let it do its thing.
Stretching it out and stuff like that, you know. So it's just getting ready for that. I was a little anxious to set it up and all that, but that'll be coming up in the week ahead, you know. And they're pretty excited. They're like, hey, you know, we're gonna cancel our prototyping orders with everybody else and just use you.
Oh, hell yeah.
We like how you responded on the emails and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah, you're a nice guy, man. You're selling yourself along with
your at the end of the day. And I told him, I was like, dude, we'll talk about price like after the prototypes are done. You know, we'll go into details with the numbers. But right now, we just focus on a prototype. You know, get it down packed, use your logo and all that. And you like it, cool. Then we can start breaking it down, go do numbers and all the boring stuff. But yeah, I really wanted. I was a little nervous, a little excited though. When I told my wife, she was like, "Oh, that's awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, but then now I got to set up the shop and all this and all that." It's like, but then thinking about it, it's like, I could do it. You know, it's not that big of a deal.
It's a mental block.
Right. It's a mental block. You know, it's something like when you go from, you know, I'm building furniture sets and then all of a sudden now I got to do production run.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the mental block. Like switching over.
Yeah, you're not ready to switch gears yet. You were
right. I'm not mentally do it. So like today I have all my orders. Like I've told everybody, hey, I got all the engraving and cutting out orders today. I'm gonna knock that out. I got some tables to have built, so I'm gonna knock that out between today and tomorrow, and then just focus on that.
You know what it feels like you're doing a little bit? It feels like you're procrastinating.
It is.
A smidge.
What did we say about that, Arturo? God damn it!
Do it on the weekends only. I wasn't listening. What happened?
I wasn't listening.
Nah, but it is a little bit of procrastination. You know, it's just, but it's like a mental block. You just got to get it over, switch gears a little bit, you know, and just go full steam ahead. Kind of like what PJ does. Just not as reckless, I would guess, but you know, just go full steam ahead. I mean, I've done it before. Just got to switch gears a little bit. Like I said, going from furniture to doing that. So I was like, no. I told the wife, I got to knock everything out today. That's different. And then just when it comes to it tomorrow, just start doing
Yes.
the prototypes and
Do what your shop was made to do.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
The thing's a monster. So
Hey, staying true to your business, man. Knowing when to say no. You can't say no to something that you are set up for. You can't
right,
ever do that.
exactly. It's actually something that I can do. I have the skill for it. I have the tools for it. So
Yeah.
that's actually something I should be saying yes more to. You know, putting it out there. Production runs are on that machine are cake. I mean, I do the beer caddy, for example. And those are like 20, 30, 50 of them in just a few minutes here and there, and they're done.
I mean, that's really the whole reason the CNC machine exists.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Made for production runs. I mean, I do cabinet runs too for a couple guys where I'm at. The bays over, they do kitchens and stuff like that, vanities, and I dump them on the machine, and the machine just eats it alive in minutes compared to what they do it, which takes them a whole lot longer.
That's so intimidating to me when you say it just eats it. Just eats it alive.
Well, I'm at, dude,
what would it do to me?
Half-inch bit going at 200 inches per minute. Think about that, dude. Think about that. That's scary. At 1,800 RPMs. 18,000 RPM. Sorry.
18,000 RPM. Wow.
18,000 RPMs, man. And that thing and then I called up Whiteside. I was like, how fast could this bit go? Like, how many inches per minute? He goes, well, you can go to 270 and then go from there. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, start at 270?
Yeah. He goes,
wow.
You start at 270 and then go from there. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. That's a fast moving bit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, half an inch. Now, I can't go that high. So I just started running at 200.
Are you worried it's too much lateral pressure would snap it, or?
I'm worried. It won't snap. It's not like a quarter-inch bit. Quarter-inch bit will snap because I've snapped them before. Yeah. But a half-an-inch bit, it's a whole different animal. It'll slang wood. Like, it'll just start throwing wood everywhere. Which is the other problem. Like, I don't want it to break. And like the bit won't break, but it will break everything else.
Oh yeah, man. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Think about it. Imagine when you route something, you go really slow.
Yeah, I'm already terrified when I'm routing.
Exactly. You get a bit flying. So imagine a machine that once you set it and forget it.
And forget it.
Yeah. It basically doesn't stop until you tell it to stop.
Yeah.
Or when it's done. So anything in its path, it's going to eat it. It's going to eat it. So that sort of becomes still a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but I like to stay back. And I think that's why I like when we talk about, like, I like watching it just for making sure, like, if it doesn't mess up or anything like that, or the piece moves. Like when I did the trees that I cut out, the 3 CNC trees,
yes,
one of them started moving a little bit, but luckily I was able to catch it and stop it and didn't destroy them.
Moving because you didn't have enough suction, or it was like getting too small?
Remember, we talked about the vacuum. The vacuum wasn't in play in this time, but what happened, the pressure of the bit was causing it to shift a little bit and then broke all the tabs.
Oh, okay.
So what it did was it started pushing them. Since the tabs of the first tree were already done, it didn't have enough force to hold everything down. Okay. So then the tree started moving a little bit as it was cutting. So then I was like, I stopped it right away. And it was all right, but yeah, stuff like that, it happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
When you're not watching it, especially with big cuts and stuff like that. I mean, straight cuts are not that problem, but cuts like that a lot of like little angles and here and there, little curves and stuff like that. They tend to, you got to watch it a little bit just for that reason before they move or anything like that.
Are these this production run that you're about to do? Is that going to have a lot of stuff that could potentially move the wood?
It has one of them doesn't, but then the other one does. The other one it's actually a thin like strip, let's say.
Yeah.
So that one is the one that I'm worried about a little bit because that right there, the vacuum table can't hold.
Yeah.
There's not enough surface for it, so the tabs become in play. So I gotta play with it a little bit, and then I might not use the half-an-inch bit. I'll use a quarter-inch bit just because of the pressure.
Yeah, slow it down. Use a half-inch bit.
Yeah, she's been bothering me. She always asks about you guys.
Oh,
here, get you here. Yeah, she's where's the guys on the screen?
Ah!
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, there you had your 5 minutes of fame. There you go. You're welcome.
Oh,
she says thank you at least. But yeah, so I'll probably go with like a quarter-inch bit, and then to not have enough, like a lot of pressure. when I'm cutting, but it's a little scary. But let's see. Hopefully I can prototype tomorrow. You knock everything out today and then prototype tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Do a little bit of finishing work as well.
I'm interested in this. Like, I want to follow up.
When they told me, hey, man, we canceled everything and we just want to use you, and then we got an order of 100 as the first order, I was like, yay.
Oh, speaking of orders, remember that thing I posted a couple weeks back? It was the kitchen bar, like that fake broken edge on the slab. And
yes.
It was like the bar, like a 6 to 8 foot bar that looked out the kitchen window.
The one that completely killed the Instagram algorithm.
Yeah, my best performing post ever. So the fact that was the best performing post, apparently a client of a designer saw that picture, showed the picture to their designer, and they're like, hey, I want something like this in my house, but longer. So the designer has now been emailing me back and forth this whole week about, doing something similar to that, but like a 12-foot version of it. And I'm like, back to my topics, basically, I'm staying true to my business. I'm like, all right, cool. They wanted it mounted on the wall. They wanted like brackets and stuff. And I'm like, I don't do install. I'm pulling one out of Chris's playbook and saying, sorry, you want to install, you got to find a third party to install it. And I felt really good saying that because it's a confidence thing. And they take that as, oh, this guy doesn't fuck around. He's not just like a handyman that does it all, like he's a legit slab guy. Like all he does, he will cut and finish a slab so it's ready to be installed. And that's what he does. So that's what he's good at. And I'm like, hell yeah. All right, cool. Like, I feel good about this one. And part of me thinks that since I feel so good about it, it's not going to work out at all. But but like, I'm just
free bench on him.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw in a few benches, dude. 2 12-foot benches, and we're even, same price, free delivery and everything.
Yeah. I'll install that, but
I can install the benches, right? Jeez.
But now she's like, I have a contractor that I work with. He can install it. We just need the slabs. I'm like, say no more. All right, cool. I'll be your slab guy. Don't worry. That's not what I actually said, because that's probably could be taken as an inappropriate comment, but
that's more reason to say it, though.
That's true. Well, so I'm trying to run. It's a family-run business, okay, man. Like it's.
It's true. It makes sense. Say yes what you could do. Say no what you really shouldn't be. Not that you shouldn't, but like nothing that you're proficient at.
Mm-hmm. Unless the money is really good,
and then you can learn how to do it. Pay somebody to teach you, and then you can go do it.
Hey, I'll learn anything for the right amount of money.
There you go.
I'm looking at that like it was it like a breakfast table?
Yes, it was like a kitchen.
Great. Especially that looks good with the next to that marble.
The sill. Yeah, the windowsill. Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah, the reason that PJ said that he doesn't do installs, though, is probably because of that house specifically.
Well, yes and no. And Arturo opened up with saying, like, look, I went to go install this floating media console, and whatever. I thought it was going to be a certain thing. It's Chinese drywall. It didn't work out right.
Right.
And there you go. Like, so here's the hypothetical PJ showing up with this beautiful 12-foot slab of black limba about to install into this probably multi-million-dollar home. If they have a personal designer, then yes, they probably have some money. So it's probably a huge house and they have high standards. And here I come, poking holes in the wall, and oh crap, like it's not strong enough, or I couldn't find a stud, and now I have to do a patch job and this and that. Like, I don't want to be doing all that. There are guys that do that specifically, like write it, let somebody else take care of it that does it all the time. Let me stay true to what I started out doing. I'm a slab guy. I'll deliver the slab as a nice thank you, so I can actually shake your hand to the person that's giving me money. I want to, them to see my face. Like, here it is. I'm the guy that did this. Thank you so much for your business. Peace out. Have fun installing it.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Staying true to what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And whatnot. I mean, yeah, like it will go back to that production run. I mean, the machine's built for it. Everything's built for it. My shop's built for it.
Yeah, man. Gotta
knock it out of the park.
You gotta get on it.
Yeah.
I made a dedication a while back where I mean, PJ already said it. Like, I just don't do installs. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I did one. Oh God, this build is always a great one. It is the butcher block countertop that I did for the kitchen island for a buddy of mine. And this is always a great story because this is when I realized that pricing was also huge too, because I'm not sure if I've told this story before on the pod, but like I calculated board feet in a very two-dimensional world when in fact we live in a three-dimensional world. So, I mean, basically I made zero
square feet. Chris.
Yes, yeah.
Square feet,
well,
yes.
Not
That's
even
flooring.
square feet. It's cubic because you need to get that extra, you know, that extra dimension. That's the mistake.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You were going square footage on us.
Yeah. So, I mean, I basically broke even on the job, and not really because when you consider like the amount of actual work that the labor, but you know, materials. Yeah, exactly. Materials wise, like I basically broke even on the job, and then I went there and installed it, and the polyacrylic wasn't quite fully cured by the time I did that. So I had a little peely action on the corner. So I had to come back like, you know,
that's the worst.
A couple days later to, you know, fix that up. And then thank God, like they were going out of town for like the weekend. Cause I kind of told them, I was like, listen, I was like, you just need to like, don't touch this. Do not touch this for 4 days or so. And then, you know, and they love it. I mean, it's like one of their favorite things in the house, but
yeah,
I remember after that and just feeling like I lost so much money out of that job. I was like, you know, I can't do that. So I was like, I'm done, you know, as far
Chris,
as installs are concerned.
Even if you charged twice what you charged or 3 times what you charged, right? It's still you know, you still had to go back. You still had to be worried about how it would fit. You still had to do this and that. Like, that's I don't know. I really I feel like I want to focus on, you know, what I'm good at. It's the art of making things, you know.
I will say with something like that though, what did get me nervous, and I don't know if you guys have, whenever you've installed something, have sort of felt this way, but I kind of, I felt as though I was nervous that somebody else would screw it up if they installed it. Like,
that's true.
I don't know why I had that sort of feeling, but I just, you know, for some reason on that particular job, I was not feeling it. I was like, I'm so nervous that some kitchen cabinet guy is going to come in here and just do this thing super wonky, and then it looks bad on me. So
yeah, because it's your piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was like, all right, you know, I want this to be done exactly the way I want to do it, and
yeah,
you know,
I feel that.
That's my problem at the end of the day. It's my own.
It's your baby. You still own it.
Yeah,
even though they paid for it. That's the cool thing about tables, man. You just drop them off and leave. You know, like here it is.
And you're done.
Here she is. All right, fellas. Well, Bryan, thank you so much for being with us today, man. I really appreciate it. It's cool having a fourth opinion about things. You know, cool personal stories.
Yeah, Bryan, where do we find you on social media and the interwebs?
So at Instagram, I am at Rowan and Wych / Rowan and Wych. It's WYCH, Rowan and Wych. And then, that's really the only place you need to find me. It's, you know, as far as people
where it all happens. It all happens.
That's the magic. But yeah, definitely reach out and introduce yourself if you hear me and you actually do come back to follow.
Nice.
And you're planning on coming down here in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I think we talked about July. Sometime in July, I'm gonna try to make it. I don't know if PJ. I don't know if you heard that, but
yes,
gonna try to set something up where we can knock out a little wood, leather, mixed media, or cut some slab, something, do something cool.
I like that, man. Yeah, we get Max over, take good pictures, all that kind of stuff. Make
absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
We can set up beer. Well, we talked about the slabs. Remember with the domino and the
competition, the domino versus the Makita mortising machine. Yes, more about that next week, folks. With that,
you said something else like that, something cool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening and following along with us as we progressively get worse at this. Make sure to follow us all on the social medias. My boy Chris at Cowdog Craftworks. Arturo is the Chop Master. Myself is PJ_Fetscher. The Evolution of Tables. If you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, email us at askmeaboutmywood@gmail.com. Make sure to rate us on YouTube or your podcast platform of choice. Thank you, everyone, and have a wondrous week. We'll see you next Saturday.
You can tell he wrote that down.
I sure did.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Later, guys.
All right, bye.